Hello, and welcome to Cleveland Conversations. In the United States, incarceration is one of the primary punishments for crimes committed, with over 5 million people under supervision in our criminal justice system. From a study of 50,000 individuals released from incarceration in 2021, only 40% were able to find a job, and many found it hard to retain that job and secure employment, according to the National Career and Development Association. But someone in our community is working hard to help these individuals re-enter society and giving them skills to stay and work in the restaurant industry. Founder, president, and CEO of Edwins Leadership and Restaurant Institute, Brandon Chrostowski is an award-winning trailblazer in the re-entry and incarceration space, known for impacting culinary and hospitality training both in and out of the nation's prisons while preserving French cooking traditions. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today, as we appreciate the work you're doing in our community.
Oh, you're welcome.
I wanted to start off this interview by asking, you've started your career in fine dining, working on your skills in establishments in, Paris, New York, Chicago. How did you get started in the business of fine dining?
Yeah, like anything else in life, the great things, sometimes it just finds you. You don't really find it. And when I was struggling as a youth, I ended up going to a kitchen in downtown Detroit. Chef takes me under his wing. He says it's not practice that makes perfect, but perfect practice that makes perfect. And from there, it was just like, started shooting. So it was kind of a unique entryway and pathway into the kitchen or fine dining. But I knew that as soon as I was in the kitchen, I loved it. It was where I was meant to be.
You said, starting in the kitchen in Detroit. So then did you go to, New York first and then Paris or Chicago, or how did that work out?
Yeah, so it was from Detroit. So the chef that mentored me, he was a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park. So I kind of followed in his footsteps. I went to school up in the CIA, Hyde Park, New York. Yeah. And then in the program, you always have this space in the middle that you have to do an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And so I apprenticed under a chef named Charlie Trotter, who at that time was probably the best chef in the country, if not the world. He was very unique in his approach to not just food, but how he trained his staff, which was pretty brutal. But in any event, and then from there it was, hey, I want to be great chef, so where great chefs go to France. And then it was France, and then I said, well, I want to be the best chef in the world. Well, the world's Manhattan, so start working in New York, and just started climbing the ranks there. But that's kind of where the conflict I had with what I wanted to do for the rest of my career happened because a young man was murdered that I was working with in the kitchens in Detroit.
Sorry about that.
It happens, and it's terrible. But because of that, I thought that I could do more with my career rather than just become a famous chef or make lots of money. I said if I create a restaurant that's a school, and a school that's a restaurant that could help others, and that's where the idea came from in 2004 of Edwins.
That's awesome. What made you want to start your own restaurant under the name Edwins?
Well, it was that it was that moment, seeing that others out there were falling into different pathways that were, obviously a bad pathway. It's death, right? People are getting murdered or they're getting put in prison. So that was a real difficult, thing to wrestle with myself. We're in these kitchens working off of Bonnet ovens. Bonnet ovens are $250,000. Copper pots. We're selling DRC wine. I mean, we're doing sort of things that just don't seem even imaginable in the reality of the world. And then to know that people are being put in prison or being murdered, that conflict really settled in. So the idea was to begin this restaurant called Edwins, right? So I always wanted a restaurant called Edwins. That's my middle name, my grandfather's name. But when I came up with the idea, I capitalized it all to stand for Education Wins.
That's actually, that's really interesting, actually. Your middle name and then also Education Wins, how that worked out. That's cool. Upon opening your first restaurant, you also made it a place for former inmates to work and gather skills in fine dining cooking, giving them a second chance in life. At what point did your mission not only become about giving guests an authentic French-style cuisine experience, but also about helping former prison inmates, giving them a place to work and crafting their cooking skills?
Yeah. I mean, so, I wrote this business plan in 2004 for Edwins. It's like now 21 years ago. But when you have a compass in life, it helps you really decide what you're going to do with each step.
Right.
It's a very deliberate step. So when, I was either GM of a restaurant or chef in a restaurant, I would always hire the way I'm hiring now. I would always train the way I'm training now. I'd find a group of individuals, maybe coming out of prison or work with an organization. But, I've been doing that since 2008, 2009. But where it really started to take way was I started teaching in prisons. And when I started teaching in prisons, the whole formation of the program really came to a really concrete form of what is going to happen, how it's going to happen. And then it was just about raising money to open up a restaurant on the outside.
Yeah. So you said you started teaching in prisons. Were those prisons here in Cleveland?
Ohio, yeah, Grafton, Ohio.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Is there a specific event or maybe success story that you would like to share regarding, helping these inmates and
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the idea of success is always just subjective, right? Your success is different than my success, and we all are going to be successful, but we have definitions of it, right? So, in prison, there's there's a lot of stories of people's success. Some people are never coming home from prison, but they took the class. They become teachers for our class while the other, inmates are coming through the program. So that's a success in itself. On the outside, obviously some people in that class get released and they come out. But on the outside, the success stories range. There was a woman who, in our program who was incarcerated, gave birth in prison, had child, and when released, obviously she wasn't reunited with the child yet. She had to, show her sobriety, her stability, and through our program, she did all those steps and got her kid back. Huge success story. There's others one guy opened a Jamaican restaurant here in Cleveland, and it's doing really good.
Yeah.
But there are 700 or so grads just in the program from Edwins. There's thousands or more in the prison programs, right? But every one of those graduates that are working in a restaurant oftentimes think like we think, teach like we teach, and so we have multiple restaurants if you think of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your restaurant does more than just training people in fine dining culinary skills, and your nonprofit also provides housing for students, family, and alumni on Edwins campus, housing up to 39 people. This campus also provides a fitness center, a library, child care center, and then parks and gardens for people living there as well.
Yeah.
How are you able to provide this amazing accommodation for your students?
Just by doing what's right and just, being driven by the inside and inside instead of the outside in, right? So inside out is serving the person who needs it most, right? And so when that need arises, housing or childcare, it's just about driving a team and a group of people around you that, raise the money, builds the building, executes the operations, and just, keeps it moving. So it's just a drive, It's just not surrendering to fear. It's not thinking that there's barriers to what's possible. And it's just simply doing what's right and just for that person who needs it most.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy. It's very simple. Maybe business school has some fancy name for it, but for us, it's just, hit hard, serve the person, raise money, build system, and go.
Now, was that something you always wanted to incorporate in your institute?
In the original plan, it was campus. It was like creating the best culinary school possible.
Yeah.
And, to do that, you need to take up space and, dedicate that time to that space, and so that's what we've done.
And with the child care center too, so when these people are living on your campus, do their families live with them as well too?
Some, there's family housing, yeah. We're now up to 3 apartment buildings and 2 houses. So so there are some family, family environments, but oftentimes it's just, single male, single female.
Right.
That's so far. But we keep growing, right? The more families that come to us, the more childcare fills up. Okay, there's a need. We need more family housing.
Right.
Next apartment building.
And then who are the other persons on your team who help you do this and run these different?
Oh my gosh, dude! I got a core 4 people who've been with me now 12 years. Just keeping it going. So that's, from case management, someone who oversees that, someone who oversees like operations, and, someone who oversees, education. But between all these teammates, we're able to keep growing this mission. And I mean, we just opened up downtown another restaurant with a Franciscan Friar. That's 13th and Euclid. So that's booming, the Friar's Table. We consult around the country and make sure people's mission and business align and sustain. So that's not possible without strong team, strong growth of graduates who can then operate and manage these places.
Mm-hmm. So your team, are they like individuals, or do you have like teams for each thing?
Individuals. I mean, like okay, so we open a new restaurant.
Right.
I grab 2 graduates. Okay, you're going to be chef, you're going to be general manager. And then beneath that, they're building their team. So it's individuals that are leading, and then obviously they're forming their own little ecosystems and teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how it works. I mean, nothing's really defined. Like, someone might have a title, but we just make it happen. That's our job description.
When training people and helping them acquire their skills, only so many people can be in the program at once. How do you identify people to be in your program?
Yeah, so we just take everybody. You know what I mean? Anyone who applies, we say, come on in. You're welcome to come in. The first 2 weeks are our grind, man. The first 2 weeks are tough. And within those 2 weeks, you're going to find someone who likes this business or doesn't like this business. So you already lose some. You keep a few, right?
Right.
You're going to find some people who really want to do this in their mind, but their bodies have gone through prison for 10 years. They want to reunite with family. They need time. So there goes a few more. But our goal in those 2 weeks is to make sure everyone has a driver's license or ID, health insurance, bank account, understands fundamentals of, how the economics work in a restaurant, food safety, sanitation, history of food, nutrition. So no matter what, if you stay in this program or not, the first 2 weeks, you could sometimes be a step further on your life plan, right, than you were 2 weeks before you met us.
Right.
So we look at it like this, man. We'll take everybody. And we're not government funded, so we don't have to meet a metric. Some organizations have to meet 5% loss, right? So what do? They find the people who are most likely to succeed, they take them, and then they meet the metric to get government money. It's like a game, right? But the people who need it most is who we have to serve. It's who we should be serving. So we take the people who are least likely to succeed, we put them in an environment to grow, we surround them with care, education, and that's kind of how we do this thing. But we'll lose in the first 2 weeks 40-50%.
Wow.
They come back oftentimes.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready for this program. It's a restaurant, as you know. It's not easy, so you got to be ready to work hard. But we'll give everyone a shot, man. If they rise up, then we keep everyone. And you guys got to think creatively. It can't just be, we can only take 20 students. Well, I've got a butcher shop and bakery.
Yeah.
There's other outlets for catering. So what you have to do is start thinking with your business mind, create more opportunity, and now I can take more student. You see what I mean? I'm out there always trying to grow more if the need is there from the student.
Right.
If it subsides, okay, we'll take our menu, make it a little bit more complicated, so you're really busy, but you can flex in a restaurant.
With identifying people, and you said finding in the first 2 weeks and applying. So do they apply while they're in prison, or is it sometimes maybe they're released and then they can apply for the program too?
Definitely a mix of both. You don't have to come straight from prison. You could be out here for 20 years and still trying to find your way. It doesn't matter. So it's a mix of both. But I mean, right now we're the #1 educator in the United States in prisons. So we're in 1,400 institutions across 46 states on tablets. We have an educational program, 32 hours long, that someone can take. And when they finish, they have direct communication with our staff. They have a letter that says, hey, upon release, we'll get them here to Cleveland. Cleveland Browns sponsor the transportation portion. So we have this whole system set up for there's housing here, there's transportation sponsored there, education going on inside the prisons. So we have a pretty wide net that we cast to get students. Again, it doesn't always work out. Some people who want to come to us can't because of parole, right? Or they can't because they're on this post-release control. Some people can't because they have family. But right now, man, we're getting people from Arizona, California, Florida, all over.
That's incredible. So it's not even just the local community too. It's all over the country.
We are growing, and we are opening other things, with other people. So that takes leaders. But I've got a pretty wide net now that can grab talent from around the country.
Right.
And then we whittle down to the right leader, and then we can continue to grow.
Talk about your relationship with like law enforcement and the legal system. So like how does like local law enforcement play a role in assisting your program?
They know about us, you know what I mean? They dine with us, they celebrate with us, so people know what we do and how we do it. But look, they have a job to do, we have a job to do. You know, we stay in our lanes, but you know, when that time comes, we cross-communicate. Judge might reach out every now and then, or someone might reach out every now and then, detective, and say, hey, this is what I got here. And I say, well, everyone's got a job to do. They do their job, we do our job, we coexist.
That's awesome. Sorry.
That's right.
Since the opening of Edwins Leadership and Restaurant Institute, which you've also mentioned that you expanded with Edwins to Edwins Butcher Shop and then Edwins Bakery and Diner.
Yeah.
How did you get the idea for these different types of restaurants?
Just education. Again, we're looking to serve student the best. And then, our students need a better baking skills. Well, so build a bakery. But we can't build a bakery. It's other things you have to check out. Can it support a business? Can it sustain itself? Can it support community? So if all these boxes check, that's when I say we do it. And then identify building, raise money, systems, and go, right? So baking and pastry is a big track for people. You know, people want to be baker. People want to be, cake decorator. So that was the idea. And then obviously we provide the bread for all the restaurants that we have. We provide different cakes. We fulfill orders to coffee shops. So that the bakery is pretty busy, and it sits in a local community where it's not a fresh baker. And then the bakery also has a little diner to it, like a greasy spoon.
Yeah.
You get omelet, you get pancake. So it's working out quite well. Same with the butcher shop. But it's all need-based from student.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure it can sustain with business, help community, go.
So they're also like it's its own little shop, but it also like it supports like in like your ecosystem of restaurants essentially.
There you go. So it's a bakery open to the public on Buckeye. And people come in off the street to buy, come in to eat, come in to grab coffee. We supply coffee shops with their pastries. We supply some restaurants downtown with product. They supply Edwins with bread. So quality's better for all of us. We control supply chain and cost. It's a win-win-win. Yeah.
Do the students who train at your restaurants, do they get the option to choose which restaurant they want to train in, or do you train them in every restaurant?
Gotta go through them all.
Gotta go through them all.
6 months, and you rotate every position too. So from food running to back waiting to serving to bartending, hosting, kitchen, pastry, garde manger, fish, meats. All right, bakery, butcher, and so they get that all in 6 months.
Yeah, so you do not just only like back of house, but front of house as well.
Yeah. We have students make their own wine, they make their own beer, they get their level 1 WSET exam. So we're serious about what we do.
That's really great, actually.
Right.
To know both sides of like the restaurant too and how it works, especially if these people want to open their own or something later, at least they've also learned to how the front operates, because usually I feel like in a restaurant it's people have always only worked back of house or people have always only worked front of house too. So that's amazing that you teach both so that people have experience in both.
So your average restaurant, that's exactly what it is. I work kitchen, I work front of the house. It's like Neanderthals. Okay, this is how a restaurant operates for a long time. So at the highest level, everyone understands and are in tune exactly with what everyone's doing. So it operates like symphony, right? And the bottom line is our guests, right? So if we can all work together, guest goes experience up. The other part about this whole cross-training thing is, we are serving a population that society's discarded.
Right.
You have record, you're no good, okay? Let's watch football, right? Someone goes to jail. They're a football player, but they're the best quarterback or they're the best running back. They're still employable, right? Because they can make a team money, they can win, right? No matter what our students have done, they have to be the best person in a restaurant. Better than you, better than anyone, right? Better than me. They have to be the best. Otherwise, people look at them like, So cross-training is a way to make someone their best. And the best in a restaurant, so that no matter what someone's offense was or color of their skin or whatever it may be, restaurateurs look past and say, this person can win. They can make us money, they can save us money, and you're hired.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta be really badass. Otherwise you're just, okay.
Right, you're that one position and
So it's a lot of reasons, man. It's for that, it's for the person themselves, it's for understanding how you, like when you're in a restaurant, so like when you work like when you go like that upper level restaurant, there's a ladder to get there. And like you pay your dues, all right?
Yeah.
And you will peel potatoes until the chef says, okay, you can touch green bean. Okay, now you can cook green bean. Okay, now to get to the line of cooking fish is hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be very good and outlive the next guy. But it's also a way in our system in a restaurant to use people. Like, people are just gears and machines. And it's like, okay, that person will deal with that position forever. All right, keep them a prep cook. But sometimes the ambitions of a prep cook are a sous chef.
Right.
But they don't know how to get there, and they don't know what it looks like or if they're capable of it. At Edwins, all of our students know what it takes to get there. So if they ever find themselves in a restaurant that's saying, okay, you can only do this. No. Our students say, I'm out of here. Okay, I know I can do it. I know what it takes, but you have to give me the chance. So anyways, it's a long answer. It's a very short question.
After like your 6-month program, you said too, do they stay with you, or do they have like the option to stay or go?
I mean, we have a lot of graduates. Not everyone can stay.
Yeah.
But we are like 85% graduate managed and operated.
Okay.
So our general manager, our bar manager, our chefs, I should say plural, are all graduates of the program.
What benefits do you see of having more options of food service training now compared to when you first started Edwins?
I mean, I think the same. Industry's always looking for best. So deliver best, and it's good. I think what you see now is there's been a generation of chefs who weren't trained properly and restaurant people, and then they trained people improperly, and it's just like it's very diluted. I think now more than ever we have opportunities to put our graduates in management positions because they know right way, they know fundamental way. Now they might have to catch up to speed with some of the, some of the nuances like anything else in life, but their core is down right, whereas it's wild out here now, man. People have expanded too fast.
With all of your incredible work in the local community, it was announced this past April that you will receive the inaugural James Beard Foundation Impact Award, honoring your efforts to promote equity and sustainability in the restaurant industry.
Yeah.
I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
What does this award mean to you?
It means we have a bigger key to open bigger doors. If it doesn't help other people, it just needs to stay in the box. Like awards are meant to get you to access to people and to places, and they're meant for me to be able to serve more students and keep the visibility high that this mission can work. That's what it means to me. It's just more responsibility, which is good.
Yeah.
But, it also means for me the city of Cleveland hasn't had James Beard Award in a decade. And in 30 years, they've only had 5. This would be number 6. So from journalism to chefs, we have not shown up pretty strong in James Beard Award. So it's makes me really proud for City of Cleveland to have James Beard Award. Individually, whatever. It doesn't. I'm very proud. I'm very happy.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking like we need to use this to open more doors. We need this to represent a city that does have a great food scene. And we're bigger than just chefs. We're doing smarter things than just chefs. We're impacting community, and we're making difference.
That's incredible. Do you have any future plans for your program? Like any new adventures in the works?
We got like 3 or 4 projects that we're consulting with that might pop up here sooner than later. It's oftentimes dependent upon the other, the partner that we're working with, right? They have to drive the cash. They have to drive a lot of things, but that's coming up. Definitely more housing on the horizon. We're starting to hit a ceiling on how much housing we have available. So that's a big one. But most importantly is our prison program. In prison, there's like 2,000 people graduating our program in prison on that tablet, right? And when someone gets released, this recidivism or the rate of return is so high in our country, 40, 50, 60% in some states. We're less than like 2 or 1%. We know how to care. When people come out of prison, oftentimes there's no plan. Like, what do you do next? What is your steps? So we're working with engaging with all of our graduates, 2,000 of them, on writing their life and career plans. It's a crazy idea to think even possible, but that would be like crowning achievement to be able to provide plans for people as soon as they're released, where to go, what restaurant to apply to, housing support, substance abuse counseling, like all this for each individual, no matter where they're coming from, because they can't all come to Cleveland.
And then I have just like one final question for
Sure.
you. Is there any way that people in this community can support your efforts?
Oh my gosh, 100%. I mean, eat and drink. I mean, that's like number one, right?
Yeah.
It's tough order. But I mean, you come out, you're helping sustain our business model. You're helping give students practice, right? Cooking, serving, right? I mean, that's what we need, right? So come out, eat and drink. That's like the easiest request. I mean, if you go beyond that, there's always volunteer opportunities. Like when we talk about getting plans out to 2,000 people a month, come on. I mean, we need lots more people to help, right? And then obviously checks, you know, people stroke a check. Here's $50, here's $5,000, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is all helpful, but people need to get involved. Like I say all the time, like at the end of a speech, like doing nothing is bad. Like doing nothing at all is bad. So whether you get involved with us, get involved with somebody or something that you believe in once a month. Maybe make it 3 times a month. The point is, if you do absolutely nothing, that's bad. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Brandon, for being here today. I really appreciate it. We appreciate the work you're doing and the difference that you're making in the city of Cleveland and our community, and the impact you've made to change people's lives with the program at Edwins.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. This is pretty cool.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.